Hey everyone, today I have a new instant loot Zone Wars game starter. This is not only the fastest way to get loot in Zone Wars, it's also pretty easy to set up, much easier than other methods. Before I begin, I would like to give a shout out to Immature Gamer. Not only did he help me test, build, and improve this design, but we also made a Zone Wars together. You can find the link to that Zone Wars in the description. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. First thing you want to do is build yourself a turtle, or whatever you want the player to spawn in. So I'm just going to do a turtle. You can really build anything, the only requirement is that in at least one spot it needs to be too high. So next, I'm going to place down a floor. This is where the player spawn is going to be. So you got to get a spawn pad. And whatever settings you have on here, that's just going to depend on the other spawn pads on your island. I'm just going to keep it default because I'm not going to have another spawn pad, but it might be different for you. Next thing you're going to do is get a wall tile. And you're going to want to place 5 walls underground right next to where the spawn pad is. And then you're going to want to get a floor. And you're going to place 5 floors. And then you're going to do 4 floors backwards like that. And place a wall right here. And then you need a barrier. And the settings on the barrier are going to depend on how many turtles you have set up, their locations. Basically the depth of the barrier, it's always going to be 12. But the width and height is going to depend. So I'm going to set it to like 20 for both. But basically the items, the barrier is going to teleport the items upwards. The items are going to take the shortest path possible. So if this isn't big enough and you have, let's say, another spawn over here, the items are going to go out to the side instead of straight up. So you really need to know how big it needs to be, but you also need to make sure it's not too big because then it might interfere with other things in your map. And you're going to want to have this disable on a certain channel. I'll just have it be channel 1. And another thing that's important is setting up a sequencer. That the length can just be normal, it really doesn't matter too much. And you want to activate on game phase, game start. Then you need a trigger. Sorry if I'm a bit slow, guys. I normally don't play on PC, so I'm not very used to this. Set the trigger to channel 1 or whatever channel your barrier's on. That way it will be activated on the game start and disable the barrier pretty much immediately. And now you need to place down the item spawners. The options for the item spawners are pretty important, so what you need to do is random spawns. Obviously you want to put on random if you're going to have random spawns. Time for first spawn, put on instant. You actually don't need to worry about the time in between spawns or the item respawns because I'm going to set up an explosive device later that will destroy everything down here so the items won't respawn. Run over pickup on, and don't mess with item visibility. If you change it to 2 times or anything, this entire system will not work. So you got to set all of them to that. And now I got to set up the weapons. So the order of the weapons, you're going to want your ARs down here, shotguns here, SMGs here. Basically, the lower down, that's going to be your first slot in the inventory, second slot. However, this does not entirely work, and that's the biggest issue with this method. The order you get your items is going to be different every time. So but in general, the order is going to be the way I'm doing it right now. But yeah, some weapons might be in the wrong order, and that's just how it is. So I'll put in the weapons I'm using. I'll just do Scar for here. I'm not really going to set up all the weapons. You probably want to put more weapons in than this if you're doing random, but I'm just not going to. Alright, so now I have all my spawns set up. I'm not even using random for most of them. I just put one item in each thing for the most part, but that's fine. Another thing you need to do is set up an explosive device. For this explosive device, you need the structure damage to be enough to break whatever material you are building with. So I was building with wood, so 150 is fine. And health doesn't really matter, but indestructible, just to be safe. Blast radius 0.25, knockback off. Explode on proximity range, you're going to want that to be like 0.25. And yeah, and then you might also want to set time to detonation from game start to 10 seconds. That way if you don't have 16 players, any empty turtles, the spawn pad will be destroyed after 10 seconds no matter what. So if someone's not in the game, it doesn't really matter. Put that pretty much in the center. You can resize it too if you wish. And that's about it for this. So if I start the game, spawn right here, and I get the items listed in my inventory. You can see the order's pretty messed up this time. Sometimes it works better than other times. Late in the game. And there's one other thing you might want to do. So obviously, since the items are just floating in the air, someone could go to another turtle and take the items from that turtle. So to avoid this, we're going to use the same explosive device as before. Put another one down here. And then just take off the proximity. Explode on proximity. That way after 10 seconds, if no one picks up the loot, this whole thing will be destroyed. So we start the game. And you're not going to really notice the difference, but after 10 seconds, you will probably hear everything below getting destroyed. I didn't turn off the VFX, so you could hear it, but I would suggest you do. So yeah, that is all. This system is instant. Other people can't steal the loot. It's non-buggy at all. There's one thing that can happen. If a player is holding forwards when they spawn in, they can possibly miss the loot. To fix this, you just want to put like you can just use like any object and put it in front of the player so they can't move. I'm not going to do that in this tutorial because that's pretty straightforward to do. And that's about it. So if you want to see how this works on a real Zone Wars map, this is what it looks like on a map that I'm working on right now. You can see it's pretty crowded down here, but just because all the spawns are so close together, it's pretty easy to set up loot. And here's the barrier I was using for this one. These are the settings on it. So yeah, it's really simple to do. It's instant, it's non-buggy. If you use this in one of your maps, credit would definitely be appreciated. Use code Pimit in the item shop if you want to, and thank you for watching.